welcome. We have delayed the start because we know people are coming in, they're trapped in traffic. But we'll be starting in about 5 minutes. If you haven't already grabbed your coffee, please do so, and we'll get started in 5 minutes. Thank you. Everybody's even softer today. You just loud, I have to yell over everybody. Everybody's like sitting down, quiet. If somebody wants to kneel and protest during my announcements, that's okay. Or maybe it's not, I don't know. Cups El Paso. We always like to go ahead and introduce our organizers here at the front. Starting closest to me, we have Michelle Blakely, Serena Harper, Eric Bischoff, Esther Lopez, and we have a couple of organizers that apparently are stuck in traffic, and then Nancy Lowry in the back, and I am Ernesto Gamboa. We like to talk about the Hub. Typically, we start with a short intro of our venue sponsor here, the Hub of Human Innovation. We're having some internet issues, so we decided to skip that part, so you're just going to hear me talk. The Hub is a business and technology incubator here in town. We offer various services for companies that are starting, getting launched, growing, and particularly if you have new products or a new technology, a new service, we will incubate you here at the Hub. For more information, please see any one of us. And also, we're extremely affordable. We get subsidized by the city of El Paso, UTEP helps some support, the El Paso Electric Company, and private donors. So please see us if you've got a company or know of someone that needs some help in growing their company. Next, we want to introduce Digital Bull, our digital media sponsor. To talk about that, we're bringing up Omar Chavez.
Hi, my name is Omar Chavez, and I am with Borderland.tv and Digital Bull Creative. But Borderland.tv is the company that's in charge of running the live broadcast for this event. So we'd like to go ahead and invite you all to go into your Facebook pages, check into here, and also share the live broadcast, so that way all the people that you have as friends on Facebook, they will be able to see it. And if you cannot make it at a future date, you will also be able to see the live broadcast as well. So please, I encourage you to share this live broadcast so we can get this event to grow. Also, we are also currently looking for sponsors for the live broadcast. We do get hundreds of views, and we've gotten a good response out of this live broadcast. So if you are interested, or you know of anyone that might be interested for broadcast sponsorship, go ahead and contact me after this live broadcast, or you can go to Borderland.tv for sponsorship opportunities. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Omar. So, who's here for the first time to 1 Million Cups? Show of hands, please. Great, welcome. So what is 1 Million Cups? It's sponsored by the Kauffman Foundation. It's an entrepreneurial showcase. Every week we bring in 2 entrepreneurs to tell their story, their journey, their trials, their tribulations, their success stories, their challenges. And then you all, the audience, gets to interact with them, asking them questions during a 15-minute Q&A. And that's the real value add. All the entrepreneurs tell us they get such valuable feedback, ideas, thought-provoking comments and things like that from our audience. So don't be afraid to get in the weeds with them, challenge their ideas. That's the real business value add for everybody here. We would like to shout out to our sponsors. Our delicious coffee is by Krispy Kreme. So we have coffee by Krispy Kreme. No donuts yet, though occasionally, I guess. Again, the venue sponsor, where we typically right now are located, the Hub of Human Innovation, and then, of course, Borderland TV and Digital Bull that you just heard from. Please do download the mobile app and check in. The mobile app also has a way that you can provide feedback to our presenters after the fact or during, so that's really pretty cool. And then also join the community at 1millioncups.org/El Paso, and also the Hub of Human Innovation on Facebook and Twitter. There are some extra seats at the front. I actually brushed my teeth today, so hopefully you don't get too much coffee breath. And then lastly, before we go to our first presenter, we have a few announcements. If you parked in front of the building, in the angled parking, you do need to be backed in. If you did not back in, the City of El Paso will give you a nice greeting card. If you are on the side closest to the Paisano side, that is not limited in time. But if you're on the half closest to the Durango side, you only have an hour if you backed into those spots. Please do not park in any of the parking lots adjacent to Durango Street. Those are private parking lots. If you're there, you should probably move your car because you're going to get towed. Also, we had the management of the building asked us to make an announcement. If you're going to the restroom, as you're facing the restroom entrances, the water fountains, the women's restroom is to the left, the men's restroom is to the right. The signs aren't very clear, and apparently there was some confusion last week, so please do keep that in mind. And with that, we're going to bring up our first presenter, Touch Screening.
Oh, good morning. Good morning. You're going to hear me say we a lot. This is not just my entrepreneurial journey. It's a we. Okay. With me is my partner in business and my partner in life and my partner in everything, Elizabeth. So big hands to Elizabeth as well. So just real briefly, Touch Screening, what we do is we offer the best in background screening, I-9 compliance, drug testing, assessment testing, and we assure that our reports and our services are of the utmost quality through a combination of our intuitive technology and our unmatched support and years of expertise. So that's a little bit about what we do. So our journey. We started off doing it the traditional way, going to school, working, doing all that, okay? And as we went through the steps of our journey, we saw that there was an opportunity for us to come back to El Paso. We were in Austin. We went to school in Austin, Texas. Go Horns. The reason we came back is the reason we had always planned on moving back, and that was family. It was family. It was home. So we were following our destination. So we got an opportunity to come back and transferred with the company, but it wasn't kind of like what we expected. And it wasn't, they tell you you're going to do this, you're going to do that, and then when you get here, it's totally different. And more than anything, the income wasn't enough to keep sustaining what we wanted to accomplish. So we went out looking for work. I had my degree and all that, so I started getting out there in the job market and all that. And then we started doing some things on our own, maybe starting our own little business and dabbling in that. We've always said that we have the entrepreneurial spirit is in our DNA. It was always there, but we had just been so I don't want to say brainwashed, but we had been so conditioned to do it the right way, the safe way. And I started working with my brother. My brother, who went out and started his business and all that kind of stuff, is Europe Automotive. It's still going strong 30 years later. But it provided me a real hands-on experience. I could actually do things, and it was almost like my little lab of the stuff that I was studied on. And I got to do those kind of things. And so I was. Again, the income wasn't enough. We had, a child and all of that. So I was fortunate enough to land some good jobs in the maquila industry, and I worked in Juarez for many years, and I worked with companies like Siemens and Epson and Dometic and EMI. And then along those years, I grabbed the experience and started with customer service, purchasing, materials management, inventory control, scheduling, finally operations management. So I was running a plant there in Juarez, and we did this for 17 years. So I want to say a little bit about the misconception of security. What we think is secure, a job, a steady paycheck, so on and so forth. Well, I call this the good, the bad, and the ugly because Elizabeth had a really good job, and they were doing so good that they moved their operations to Mexico to better service the Mexican market. So even in those great times, companies, leave. Okay, the bad, the economy went down, and our sales went down by 80%. We had tons of inventory, and when you have that equation, that equals layoffs, right? And usually, the people that are laid off are the most expensive because you got to still have the lay people and the workers to push your product. So, a lot of us were in that position, right? But we still had that entrepreneurial spirit within us. So we decided, or we had an opportunity right at that time. And the opportunity was, we saw that there was a need in El Paso for a business like ours. Okay? And so we took it. We took that, we took that chance. Right? And so we partnered in with some family members in order to do that, to develop a team, a strong team, to be able to accomplish this. And we refinanced our house. We sold a lot of other things. I kept working in Mexico, because Elizabeth was doing the sales portion of that. And so while I was working in Mexico, yes, I was dodging bullets and avoiding kidnappings. It was really, really a bad time in Mexico, especially if you had an upper type of level position. They would kidnap you, and the joke was how much was each one of us worth, and they were started off kidnappings for $50,000, and they went down to $10,000 and stuff like that. So we looked at ourselves, a lot of the Americans that worked there, and let me tell you this is crazy. So we would park our cars here, okay, and we would run, or we would cross through the bridge, and then our companies would pick us up in like an old beat-up car, so that we won't, put a lot of attention to us. And then so we would squat down to make sure that you can see very well. And every day was a different route, and we tried not to stay long at stop signs. And we would go around, and then the driver would say, "Okay, open the door." The doors would open. We would run in. They'd lock the gate. Okay, so then, in the afternoon, we didn't know what time we were going to get out, so we said, okay, let's get out, because they had to be all different times and all that. And we would follow the same situation with old cars and coming in, and then they'd leave us at the bridge, and then, boom, we'd cross over, okay? That was Monday, and Tuesday, and Wednesday, and Thursday. So the situation was pretty rough, okay? But right about that time, that's when we got that opportunity, and we said, okay, let's really, follow our dreams, which is still within us. Our entrepreneurial spirit was there within us. So, we got together, made the team, and we've been in business now going on our 10th year. Okay, and one of the things that we're real excited about being here in front of you all is that we want to express some challenges to you so that you may face these challenges. So you don't have to go through the expense and all of that. We've already done that for you. We can tell you some things that we've gone through that might help you. Okay, and we had to do some innovation in our processes, our procedures, because really there was nothing else to compare ourselves with. So we had to find out these challenges. The biggest challenge was to know what we don't know, and a lot of you, when you're in that situation, you don't know. So you got to go find out what you don't know and strengthen that. And that can cost you a lot of money in the long run. So, that's one of the challenges that we had. The other challenge we had was, is our pricing correct? We didn't have a gauge. We didn't have anybody to say, okay, this is what you should price at. We're not a franchise, so we had to do everything, from the ground up. And our costing and our pricing and all of those kind of situations were very new to us. So we had to really innovate and develop all those processes and procedures. Right. And so I like to say, welcome those challenges. Know that you don't know, okay? And seek what you don't know. And that's going to save you a lot. It's going to save you a lot of money. And, talk to people like us, mentor, do all those other things, and piggyback on the successes and failures that they've gone through. So that's our story. So,
okay, now any questions, please? We have 15 minutes for Q&A.
Yes, sir.
During the time you started your business, probably about the same time the market crashed.
Yes.
How hard was it to get started at that point?
It was very hard. Financing was very difficult. We did manage to do that. There was a lot of you saw that we had to refinance our home, sell some items and all that. So the capital injections came in on a private basis. Fortunately, our business is not one that has a lot of equipment. The startup for us wasn't that costly in terms of the equipment and all that. We did have to do some contracts and whatnot with our platform and some software, but it wasn't, we didn't need cars and all of that kind of stuff. So we did manage to go through that. The financing situation and all of that was a bigger problem once we got going, because then we had a cash flow, which is one of the hardest things in business is to sustain a positive cash flow. And so that was even harder for us because we started 10 years ago. We started in 2007, so the market really went down. The economy went down in 2008, 2009. So that's when we actually needed it. So we really didn't need it to start up with. We needed it to sustain. Yes, sir.
You said you got to do drug testing, you got to do background checks.
Yes, sir.
What's the benefit of doing a background check with a company like yours compared to one of the federal online services?
Awesome.
You can just pay $25
Yes.
to get a background check.
Yes, that's a great question, because that's what keeps us in business. Questions like that. And here it is. There's not one database. There's not a database to include the FBI database that's going to give you 100% information. Okay, so they're going to miss records. Those records are going to be missed. So you need a multifaceted way to do your background checks. The biggest thing in terms of background checks is your local county government. And so we, with our network that we have throughout the country, we're able to do background screening and go directly to that county. Even if it's in Nashville, Tennessee, we'll go to that particular county and do it, because that's where the records are held. So databases and FBI searches, they'll pull that information from there, right? And one of the craziest thing is the police may stop you, and you have a warrant in New Mexico, they won't know about it because all they do is concentrate on the city, first of all, and then in the county. So, and I'm glad you mentioned $25 because one of the challenges that we had was that we were efficient. My background is in manufacturing and in Six Sigma and lean and processes and all that. So our costing and our pricing was so good that we couldn't convince people that those were actually our prices for what we did. They were saying, "No, you guys are missing something. It can't be that, cheap." Because there was a lot of other things that we put into that product. So what makes it the reason why people would want to come to us is because we are here. We're local. We're part of the community. We're born and raised here. We know the market. One, you don't call an 800 number. Someone is right here in our office. You can go see us if y'all want. But primarily, we protect you. Our clients are very dear to us, and we protect them. So you open up a can of worms when you want to do background checks. There's a lot of legal things that you need to know. Yes.
When you look at the large employers in El Paso, really related to, say, public education and some city and county government-related positions, drug testing and background checks happen at the beginning of the employment application process. Although they should be continuously occurring, most employers on that scale don't do it. But depending on what the policy is, really the reminder is that ongoing public servants in a variety of different capacities as well as educators have to have these things, but they're too costly if it's a background check or if it's a drug test. Since you are local and you recognize the landscape of how many applicants and employees really are eligible to have ongoing background checks, how do you present the case that this is absolutely an important component for insurance purposes, for safety for employees and for clients and so forth? How do you make the case that this needs to be not just a one-time thing, but an ongoing service?
Well, that's a really good question, a really good point. I'll start off by saying that in terms of the public education and all that, we have to deal with we don't deal with that because they're unionized, and so the union dictates a lot of what they can do and cannot do. We just can't say, okay, all the teachers are going to take drug tests. Well, they belong to that particular union, and that's a whole set of worms, in that regard. But to be able to promote that, a continuous type of program, it's very easy to see that that's really the only way to reduce either drug abuse or someone like that. And you're right, it happens at the beginning of the of the process, and then after that, there's no more drug tests. There's no more background checks, because we see it in the news. X coach did this and X person did that, and unfortunately, and I apologize for anybody in the public schools and everything, but what I used to see was, okay, they're not working there. Whatever happened to that guy, that teacher? He's now working at some other school, or they reassigned him to some elementary. But is there a program that sustains that keeps on going to be able to sustain an environment that's good for everybody? Major employers do that. We do the work for El Paso Electric, and it's continuous. We also do all the background screening for every single coach or anybody that steps on a field in El Paso, and all of the programs and all of that. We do everything for it, and they have a continuous one. And by the way, they've been recognized nationally, even by Sports Illustrated and ESPN and all that, for the sports program that they have here, because it was every weekend where the cops were being called to a field and all of that. We have someone that we started working here way back when we started implementing that. And that dropped dramatically. I mean dramatically, from every weekend or from everything to basically zero. So when the people started hearing that, the recognition came, and it's still doing that. But we'd love to be able to go and tell companies to keep doing this program. That's the only way to do it. Yes, sir.
That opportunity presented itself to you. Can you describe that a little bit more? And also, were you kind of experts in this area? How did it?
Well, it actually started because our nephew, who started working in Austin for a company that actually sold the software for companies like ours. Right? So there's a specific software and a platform. Let's call it a platform where background screening companies have to do in order to be able to send out orders and assign agents to go and do the background. There's a software. So, he saw that there was actually no other company here, really, in West Texas, southern New Mexico. There isn't. So we did more and more research. There are companies doing a lot of background. There are big employers do that through their applicant tracking system. But we saw the opportunity, and we saw the opportunity with medium to small companies. That's kind of our sweet spot, because in those companies, let's say, I don't know, 20 to 50, the bookkeeper or the accountant is also the human resource person. And, they don't have a human resources department. Big, giant companies will have, staff and all that. But the smaller companies don't. And so they don't follow the rules. They don't, human resources is a very, very difficult position in terms of all the things by law that you have to do. So it becomes very difficult. So that's kind of our sweet spot. But we did that because we did a little bit of research and finding out that there was actually no one servicing this area. Yes, sir.
Obviously, you guys have a great business model. For quite some time.
Yes, sir.
So it's working, whatever it is that you're doing.
Yes, sir.
I'm curious to know, you've established yourself as a local leader in the industry. What are your plans for growth, say, 3, 5, 10 years?
That's a really, really great question. And I'd just like to know how many people are barely starting their business, or how many is it a young business? Is it a starting up business? Okay. What our challenge is what else can how can we innovate ourselves every X amount of years? We don't want to be old technology. We don't want to be that's the way we used to. It works really well, and we can develop a really good sales campaign, a marketing campaign to be able to do that. But realistically, how else can what can we do to evolve as a company to provide either a better service, to provide, newer products, to be more, because I said intuitive technology, to be able to grab that technology and offer our products and services to our clients. And we did that. If you're new in a business, or you're starting to be part of your industry associations, go to the conferences, get the newsletters, do all of that, because that's where the new information comes in. And if you see something that's new, research it. See if that becomes part of your product line or a way to add more value to what you're doing. But you have to constantly be going out there and looking for new things, new ways to either provide the same service or do it a different way. Because right now we're looking at the phone. Everybody's doing it through the phone. So we're looking to have our website and all of our stuff be able to be accessed through a phone and applications and all that. So you got to stay on top of it. You really have to work at it. It's going to be tough because you're going to be so busy working in the business that you're not going to be working on the business. So you want to change that. You want to make sure that you're working on the business, not just in the business, because before you know it, 5 years pass by and you're still doing the same things you used to do. And believe me, someone will come with a newer, better, fresher smelling product. All right, so you really got to stay on top of that.
Any other questions?
I don't have a question, but I do have a testimonial from Mr. Sifuentes.
Okay.
He was talking about the challenges and all the obstacles that they have to overcome. I met him when they first started, and I've seen him grow so much. I have to give the wife a lot of credit, but she opened a lot of doors for them. They did amazing marketing, and they were out there pushing it. And in the 10 years that I've known them, they built an amazing company, and they have an impeccable reputation. So I would highly recommend it because they're going to grow. But like you were saying, they do have challenges, they do have obstacles, but it's working for them.
And the challenges, thank you very much. They're continuous. They're ongoing. Go ahead and ask us the questions. Have lunch with us, whatever you want. We're here to help you out. We want you guys to succeed. The area needs you guys to succeed. So find us out. Ask us questions. You don't have to go through some of the stuff that we went through. We can provide a lot of that information. Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to make a testimonial too. We use Touch Screening. I'm not quite sure how we happened upon them. We did a lot of research when we opened the hub, and we do background checks on all of our employees and our clients and all of that, and they're responsive. If something happens or goes wrong with the system, they always notify you in advance or as soon as possible. The reports come in on time, and they're reasonably priced and thorough. So,
Well, thank you.
we like it.
Thank you. And again, it's you don't have, if you have a good product, if you have it, just make sure that you have the ability to service your clients and add value. There's a big value added to servicing your client, and a lot of it is not new products, new ways, FAQs, going through the system and having an 800 number call you. A lot of it is just people call us throughout the country. We have right now we have our client in Puerto Rico that we're really concerned about. We can't get to them because it's tough, but we're calling them and we're making sure they're okay and all that. And it's just a phone call. I mean, just a minute, even to leave a message. Those things go a long way, and it doesn't cost a lot. So.
Okay, and the final question is always, what can we as a community do to help you?
Wow, that's a good one. Well, what you can do for us is meet with us, challenge us, let us know what your concerns and all that, because one of the things I said was to keep in touch and keep innovating and all of that. And if we don't want to get in the same rut of knowing, we're so good at doing this is all we're going to do. We really love our community, and we want to extend that to you, but we need that back from you. We need for you to tell us what your needs are, what you're looking for, and if we can communicate with each other like that, you might lead us to some innovations that we don't know about to make us better as a company. So we need that interaction. So please give us a call, have lunch with us. Let us know what you all are needing, what the new generations are needing, what the new companies are needing, so that we can adjust and evolve into a better company.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, sir.
And here you get a travel mug, and then we need a picture, please. In front of the. Yes. Great, thank you. Now we have some time for some community announcements. First, does anybody in the audience have an announcement that they would like to make? Yes, ma'am.
Mount West is, I can talk loud. Mount West is having their second annual walkathon Sunday the 1st from 8 to 11. We have a lot of amazing sponsors, Costco, Southwest University, Desert Imaging. So they're having a lot of freebies, fruit, a lot of gifts, a lot of giveaways. So it's a good networking event at the same time. So we would appreciate your support. And it's going to be at Album Park from 8 to 11.
Great. Anybody else? Anybody looking to hire anybody, whether an employee or contract basis? Anybody looking to raise money? Anybody want to announce that they raised some money? No? Okay, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Michelle. She's going to read off some of the community announcements going on.
Thank you, Ernesto. Okay, the El Paso CBA presents the Honorable Joe C. Pickett. Actually, today at noon, there's a luncheon. Yeah, at noon. And then breakfast with friends. Tomorrow morning, on Thursdays, at Carnitas at the Fountains, every Thursday. The SBA is hosting a small business lending fair. Find out how to get investors interested in your company with guest presenter Ricardo Mora, Thursday at 5:30. Okay, let's see. El Paso, Texas Investors Network. They're meeting tomorrow at La Teresa. Yeah, at 7 p.m. NMSU's Arrowhead Center is hosting a conference for aspiring and successful female entrepreneurs, September 29th at 10 a.m. Intelligent Office and Wells Fargo invite you to discover financial services for your business, October 5th at 7:30 a.m. Oops. Okay. There's 6 free workshops around the region that are scheduled to walk you through the State Hub certification process. First one tomorrow at the El Paso Hispanic Chamber at 8 a.m. They'll continue until Friday, November 17th, but we'll keep you informed. And finally, Downtown El Paso Insider. Sign up for our weekly newsletter at downtownelpaso.com to be the first to know about the downtown news, events, and networking. That's it. If you have any questions, come see me.
So as you can see, there's a lot of stuff going on here in our region. So with that, we are announcing that we have started a Startup Digest. You can sign up for that as an email, and you will get an email with all the events that are happening related to business, entrepreneurship, innovation in the region. So please do sign up for the Startup Digest El Paso. And then also, if you know of any events, please send them to us, or I think there's a way you can actually go and add it to the list. Next, we have a couple of giveaways. We have 1 travel mug, not 2. So if somebody takes the first one, that's it. The second one is for the second presenter. And then we also have a notebook for jotting down ideas from XS2 Brain-Based Leadership, was a past presenter, and also a T-shirt, and it's a small, so keep that in mind. We only had 2 people drop in their business cards. We normally do take a drive with business cards, so it's too late. It's too late. You should have done it on the way in. But next time, drop in your business cards. I'd rather do that than come up with a question. So the first question for a giveaway is, who has shared at least 2 of our Facebook posts? Not just liked, but shared. How about shared 1 of our Facebook posts? All right, we have a winner back here. Which would you like, Joseph? You already have a travel mug because you presented. Oh, well, sure. Oh, here you go. Has anybody seen our Facebook posts? Show of hands, have you seen our Facebook posts? So a few of you. So yes, please do like them and share them. Please share them. Help us. That was the next one. It's retweeted, right? They tell me I'm a twit. I don't know. Retweet. Who's retweeted the Twitter post? Yes. Did you want? So do you want the T-shirt? It's a small, unfortunately, or the notebook? The notebook. All right. There you are. Okay, lastly, if you did not sign in when you came in, please do so before you leave. I'm going to hit you again before you leave. It's very, very important. We need to report that back to our funders, our supporters. With that, I'll bring up our second presenter, Action Surge. Grand entrance. Ready?
All right, thank you. Thanks for coming on a crazy day. I actually just moved. I'm from Pennsylvania. I just moved to Ciudad Juarez about a month ago. And so I'm excited to be a member of this community here in El Paso Juarez, and excited for your feedback today. So I want to start by talking about one of my favorite things in the world, which is Post-it notes. I really love Post-it notes. So one of the great things about Post-it notes is that you can use them for so many different purposes, right? You can decorate an office. You could use them as sunscreen. You can plan an awesome kick-in winter is coming Game of Thrones party. You could teach someone a lesson who parked in a space they shouldn't have parked in. And some people even use them as cheese, apparently, in a grilled cheese sandwich. But a couple years ago, I was down at South by Southwest in Austin, and 3M was giving out these really big Post-it notes. They're like bigger than a human head. And so someone who liked Post-it notes, I'm like, all right, I got to get some of these. And so I went and I took a lot, and I mean like a lot of them. And so walking with a friend down the street to a bar, and we're thinking, what are we going to do with these Post-it notes? And we decided to just write on one of them, free problem solving, #0problems. And so we set up a little table at the bar. We just put free problem solving. We started accosting people as they walked down the street. We're like, free problem solving, horseback riding, welding, business, personal, you name it, we'll solve your problems. And at first, some people are coming up to us with these kind of things like, does my shirt look good? Or like advice for my girlfriend, whatever. But then all of a sudden, like a line starts to form. And we start getting some serious questions. Like all these people start tweeting about us. It turns into this like big thing, all these big accounts. This woman from Goodwill, who's like a marketing executive there, she's like, how can we grow our brand? It's like, how could you not grow your brand? You have like 500 stores. At one store, triple your prices. At one store, offer gift wrapping. At one store, have a co-working space. She's like scribbling down all these notes. She's like, can you come do a workshop with us? I was like, you don't need a workshop. I just gave you 20 ideas. Go do those, and then maybe you can come back, and do something else. And what I realized coming out of this is that oftentimes people value collecting good ideas more than actually making any of them happen, right? And so I think I got really excited about this concept of action and these questions of what is it that actually sparks people to act, and what is it that actually holds people back from acting. And in my previous life, I used to spend a lot of time in rooms like this, filled with Post-it notes with a million different ideas, and then a week later you wonder, what the heck ever happened to any of that stuff? And so in studying with psychologists, sociologists, anthropologists, drill sergeants on those questions around action, we learned that most people over time, they have a new idea and they'll slowly make a little bit of progress over time. But if you really want to take action on something and you really want to see something happen, it's important to have that massive surge of action right away. And that right away when you have an idea, taking steps to actually work to make something happen. So earlier this year, with a couple now colleagues, we published a book called Surge, which is all about the science of action. I have one that I'll give away. And it's filled with some of our favorite stories of action. So I want to share just a couple of them that I really love. So who's seen these White Dove pool rafts before? Right? They're pretty fun. So there's a guy who's at a pool party. He's like, hey, White Dove pool raft. I think this is really cool. He's like, I think it'd be neat if there was a pink flamingo version of these. So he Googles, and at the time there wasn't one. And most people would kind of leave that idea there. But he decides to just Google, I'm going to Google China manufacturer. So he gets on the line with someone. He's like, hey, China, will you design this thing for me? Blah, 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 blah. 8 weeks later, it shows up at his house. He has this pink flamingo pool raft. He has a party. Everyone falls in love with this. He launches giantflamingo.com. He's made over $1 million selling these pink flamingo pool rafts because he had that intention to take that surge of action right away. Another one, when the App Store came out, started being big, right? Everyone's doing apps, 2008, 2009. Someone's like, okay, I want to make an app. I have no idea, and I have no technical skills. But if I look in the App Store, what is the most downloaded, lowest rated app? So the one most people want, but that's rated the worst. Turns out it was the Spanish Bible. The only Spanish Bible app crashed all the time. It was horrible. It didn't work. Well, the Bible's free, so we just got the content, hired somebody to make the app, and he ends up making 6 figures selling the Spanish Bible app online. Another story, and I have a million of these stories, but FBA, we know Fulfillment by Amazon, where you can send stuff and they fulfill it from their distribution centers. So there's a woman here in Texas who last year, she decided every week she's going to go to Target, and she bought everything on the clearance rack. Those are all new items, new products. They just want to get rid of them. She bought everything on the clearance rack, put it in a big box, sent it to Amazon. Amazon lists it. Amazon fulfills the orders. Amazon does everything. She made 6 figures last year just selling this stuff from the Target clearance rack because she had that idea to do stuff right away. So it's about taking that, having that bias towards action and making things happen right away. So some of the things that we think are really important is that, one, action is a muscle. It's something that can be exercised. It's something that can be built. And it's something that all of us have the ability to work on, even if we're not inherently action biased. Another is that when we have an idea, it tends to be that we say, oh, I want to set aside, I'm going to set aside time on a Friday and, when the sun is shining perfectly and when everything's great. But that time never comes when we actually act on ideas, so it's important to, be accountable to that. And then the other thing is that when I have an idea, it's incredibly hard to come up with the actions for my own ideas, right? But when other people have an idea, it's really easy to be like, you could do this, you could do this, you could do this. So the collaborative nature is actually really important when it comes to taking action on ideas. So we launched a company called Action Surge that is entirely focused on helping people take ideas into action. It's entirely based on these premises. What we do, we have 2 kind of primary products. We have the Action Surge Blueprint, which is basically a 2-hour high-energy session where everyone comes in with an idea and everyone leaves with an action plan. We found that the biggest client for this has actually been conferences, because one of the biggest things that happens at conferences, right, people come together for 2 days, 3 days, whatever it is. They're all excited. They have all this potential momentum for all these things they want to do. But then the next day, it's back to the meetings, back to the phone calls, back to everything else, and it's easy to see all that momentum dwindle. So having that clear action plan is really important coming out of that. And then the other thing we offer is actually an action literacy training, where it's a full day or half day training course in helping people to build that action muscle and build that action literacy. So that's just an example. It's high energy. It's with timers. Everything that goes on is really rapid. 40,000 action steps and counting. Here's an example of some of the clients that we've worked with so far. This is us. Everything in life that's hard is just a series of things that are easy. That's one of my favorite things to say. Everything in life that's hard is just a series of things that are easy. It just needs to be broken down. So this is us, and this is me, and that's it. So. Okay. Please. Yes, sir. Yes. Yes, for love. For the best reason, for love. The best reason that anyone ends up anywhere. Yeah. What? Yes, sir. And you're the first, so you're going to get the book. So I'm going to just pass this back to you. So, thank you.
I ended my section by saying, to talk and all that, and that, because it's true. That's what we need. So, it's why is it so easy for people to have ideas about somebody else's business and something? And it's I get into that. And I don't know if you've gotten into that where you look at the obvious, and kind of like the person say, what do you think? Do you think about that or something like that? How do you go about it?
Yeah, I think there's a few factors. One is whenever we have an idea of our own, we value it so much and it's so precious, and we don't want to come up with something that's wrong, so we choose not to come up with anything instead. And when it's someone else's idea, it's really, you don't care. You're just like boom, 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 what you think, and you're just saying it. And then I think the other thing is it's almost like, when you're young and you're in school, and there's the girl that you like for the first time, and you're like, I can't talk to her. Like, I can't go, I'm going to screw it up. And so you don't talk to her. And it's the same kind of thing of like, you don't take action because you're afraid of that kind of thing. So I think it's really important. So one of the things that we do is we bring people together in groups where they're forced to help generate actions for other people's ideas, and then you can say like, oh, I quite like that one, quite like that one, quite like that one. The other thing real quick that you mentioned there, right, is we have that curse of knowledge often in our own domain, where because we're so close to our problems, we miss things that other people who aren't close to them are like, have you thought about this? And you're like, holy, like, why didn't I think of that? Yeah, so.
You said you live in Juarez.
Yes.
Do you have your office in Juarez, or
So me and my business partners all just work from home, so we work remotely, so we can do kind of stuff wherever, so, yeah.
And it's more affordable.
Yes, indeed.
Where are you selling your book?
I'm sorry?
Where are you selling your book?
So it's available on Amazon or your favorite book retailers, but Amazon's the best place to get it. It's called Surge, Your Guide to Put Any Idea into Action. It's an Amazon bestseller, but you can get it from me. I have 2 more copies in my bag, and since the 2 of you asked, you're the 2 new recipients. So, what else? Yes, sir.
So you say you have these workshops where you do a 2-hour power session, if I remember correctly?
Yeah.
Where you sit down and come up with a bunch of ideas, and then the client leaves an action plan.
Yes. So everyone comes in with an idea. Did you have something else? Sorry. Yeah.
Questions regarding who is everyone, and how do you follow up with those people after the leave to make sure they executed that plan?
So everyone is everyone in the workshop. So for example, if we're brought in for a conference, it's everyone at the conference. If we're brought in for a company, it's anyone at the company that they've invited to this. I've actually done some at co-working spaces in other cities. I would love to host one here at the Hub of Human Innovation, and I'm happy to do that gratis and just to invite people, so we'll sort that out. But everyone who comes in is just, here's an idea I want to take action on, and over the course of the process, they develop that clear action plan. In terms of the accountability and the continuity, so we build in accountability steps as part of it that they commit to on the plan, but also we follow up in those intervals. So the action plan is constituted by actions in 48 hours, in 10 days, in 30 days, and beyond 30 days. And so as part of that, we follow up with those individuals as part of that. And then kind of moving forward more long-term in our roadmap, we're looking at maybe actually building out a digital capability that helps to automate some of that. But yes. I'm working on it. Yeah. Was that the, yeah.
Well, I just want to know if you do seminars in Spanish.
Let's talk. So, yes.
Do you provide workshops to college students?
Yes, we've worked with universities as well. So like I said, I'm from Pennsylvania, so I've done a lot of work with Penn State University. Haven't done as much local yet, but it would be excited to do that. Yes. It is, yeah. We have the audio version on Audible. We have the Kindle version, all that good stuff. So.
In terms of planning, I've heard of like 90-day year, these types of things. I think which of these that would be more effective?
Yeah, the thing is, everybody's different in terms of what works for them. So one of the most important parts of the process is teasing out what works best for you and then helping set you up with what's going to work best for you. But I think in general, it's the immediate surge that's most important. And so setting people up with those things, what are you going to do in the next 48 hours right away? What are you going to do in the next 10 days? Is really important, because if it's like, oh, as soon as I get through this major project and this other client thing, then I'm going to get to this, never happen. You never respect it, because there will always be something else that's, you know the 4-boxer on, urgent and important, right? There's always going to be urgent stuff. So yeah, it's important to have that immediate thing right away. Yes, no, go ahead.
If somebody has an idea and they contact you, can you help them develop it? And you show them where to start?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. That's not really our model of like one-on-one coaching, so I wouldn't like charge for that, but I'd be happy to like have a conversation with anybody about anything.
Have like one-on-one meetings or consultations or?
Yeah, and then we're also building an online course through Udemy, which is helps scale. I have a couple online courses through Udemy with other stuff, but we're building one for this. Which, if you're not familiar with the platform, anyone can teach a course on any subject, and people could follow along in the videos and say, okay, here's the next step, here's the next step. Yes. The name is Action Surge, actionsurge.com. And the name of the book is Surge, Your Guide to Put Andy into Action, but it's all on actionsurge.com.
I have a comment and then a question. The first comment is, I understand you gave away the copy of your book, but you should have reserved one for the person that helped coordinate you here. But the question is, the whole topic was, your main topic was that people don't take action, but what have you found is the main reason? I don't know if you get down to that.
Yeah.
What is the main reason, or maybe talk 2 or 3 reasons why people don't take the action that they know they should be taking or could take?
Yeah, I think one is that they don't know the actions that they could take, because they stay at the idea phase, which is that I have this idea, I've had this idea in the back of my head forever, I want to make it happen someday, but I haven't actually sat down to think about action. For example, I could have on my to-do list, write a business plan for 6 months, and I'm going to keep pushing it out, keep pushing out, because it's too big. Like, that's a really hard, difficult step. When you break it down to the point everything in life that's hard is a series of things that are easy, if I broke that step down on my calendar to what I would actually end up doing anyway, Google business plan, read the first 10 articles, pick a template, fill out the first section of the template. Now that's not intimidating anymore. Now I can sit down and bang that out in an hour. But we make things really intimidating. So I think, that's one. And then, of course, there's the typical things of fear of failure and all those kinds of things. I think maybe the other biggest thing is the collaborative aspect, where when we sit on our own, in our silo, the vacuum of our own brain, it's impossible to really be expansive in thinking about the kinds of things that we can do. But when we engage others, then that's where the magic happens. Okay. Yes, sir.
Pricing. How much is a session for a company?
Yeah, so session for for-profit companies, $5,000. We have a different rate for nonprofits and coming in. So.
Any other questions? Okay, as always, the final question: what can we, as a community, do to help you?
Take action. I mean, let's see this region be the action capital of the world, right? So let's make it happen.
All right. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Don't forget, we get your mug, your travel mug, and then the picture.
Am I on this side or right here?
On that side, please, because I have to hold the mic. All right, great. Thank you so much. What do y'all think? Couple of great presenters today, right? Awesome. So hats off to you guys for braving the rain. Hats off to you guys. That's it for 1 Million Cups. A couple of parting announcements. Again, please do sign in if you didn't sign in on the way in. Please sign up, follow us, join our community. Please come back and see us and bring a friend and sign up to present. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
1 Million Cups is a weekly educational program developed by the Kauffman Foundation.
Over the years, we've added more cities. It creates a great energy here to see what's happening across the country.
What I've learned from other entrepreneurs is very, very valuable.
Sitting in a room with other people that have ideas too, it helps people to leave thinking, you know what, my idea is worth something. It's worth pursuing. It's worth going after it. Even if it looks like a challenge, I should still go out and try to do it.